Well, hey everyone, I know it's not been a very long time since the last update. Usually it's maybe about a month or something else like that, but there are a couple things I didn't mention in the previous one, and there's a lot of stuff that's been kind of going on behind the scenes. Nothing any kind of worrisome or whatnot, but there's a lot of things kind of causing me some issues in some places here or there. I felt it was necessary to kind of do a proper video for, because I've been posting stuff on the community tab, on social media here and there. It's been kind of disjointed type of information. And the fact there's a lot of things going on that I really want to address, and there's going to be a little bit of a different format for this video. And so I just want to get into some minor things here and there, but I am going to be still working on the Exorcist 3 video. I just kind of took a little pause because I was kind of getting up to close to doing it, but I was not feeling very good on my last day off. And it's like, this isn't going to work out. I'm not going to be able to charge through this and get everything done. I just feel too tired. I just didn't feel up to it. It's like, okay, I've done plenty of research in the last couple of days. I really kind of packed in a lot of stuff, got myself refreshed on a lot of different things, typed up a bunch of notes for it, so I made sure that stuff is very much handy to me. And so I'm going to take until like maybe Friday night or maybe Saturday, and when I'm going to finally watch the proper theatrical version, as I already watched the Legion one earlier this week. I'm going to finally watch that, get all my notes together, and go forward with actually producing that video. So I've got a weekend off to properly get into it, got myself paced out nice and well in that regard, not trying to push too hard into it and get too burned out or get oversaturated where I just get a little bit numb to the whole thing. Give some time for things to simmer, kind of circle back around to things and make sure I'm feeling very good about it, because there's a lot of information I've delved into to get up about the novel versus the film, and both different cuts of the film, and various things behind the scenes, a lot of different input, and a lot of things where you want to get up on the best end of things and make sure it kind of lives up to the video I did for the first Exorcist film. So that's very much close to the edge of the amount of work I put into this whole thing. Nothing about technical stuff in terms of like the color grading snafus and all the type of stuff, but there's a lot of information about the history of the film, the adaptation process, all these different things, really kind of get an insight into this whole thing and get that done in the best possible way I can. So that's coming up this weekend. But getting up, I don't really have media pickups too much of this whole thing. This might be one of those updates. But I did want to mention the fact that I did get the new CD EP from Plush, the band I saw last year. And I posted up a couple of videos on my other channel and various other things, mentioned them before. This thing, phenomenal. I only got the first album on iTunes because I was kind of hemming and hawing back and forth. I'm a little weird whatnot about buying certain CDs at this point in time, because I want to make sure that it's not just because a couple of years back when Alice in Chains put out their last album, I got it. I was going to get the physical one because I got all the other ones on CD, and I got like a pickup at Target, and I found out like there's not even a booklet in this whole thing. It's just a CD in a flip case, and there's nothing here. I just felt so cheated. It's like, I'm sure the vinyl version's got inserts and stuff like that, but the CD just like didn't put any effort into it. So I was a little dodgy here and there about making sure that if I'm buying the CD, I'm getting certain things. Like I like this one does come with a lyric insert. There's no credits. There's a couple credits on the inside flap of the whole thing here, but at least they've got the full lyrics of all the songs on the EP. So that's kind of good. So I like the fact that they have that, and just the fact that listen, these girls are out on tour supporting Disturbed right now. They're going to have a tour headlining this spring, and they're coming right back to the exact same venue I saw them last July over this coming May. It's going to be on, I think it's Memorial Day weekend. I already bought my ticket. And apparently there's going to be specific meet and greet tickets. They will be announcing later on that you can buy separately. So after my experience from last summer, definitely be certain I'll be looking out to grab a meet and greet with them. As I waited out back at the venue for like an hour or something else like that. It was raining, not hard or whatnot, but it was kind of drizzling and stuff like that. So I waited and waited and waited, and I got the set list signed and all that type of stuff. So this will be a much more formal affair in that regard. But listening to this entire CD, it's fantastic. They got a new producer, Johnny K, and he just added so much evolution to their sound. So much of a thing that there's a lot more nuance to the whole thing. There's a lot more depth to it. There's a lot more dimension to the sound of the songs and everything like that. And they got an amazing ripping cover of Barracuda from Heart, which they play live. and they decided to put that on this album, kind of put it out as their first single for the whole thing. And of course, Left Behind, the single they had circulating last summer or whatnot. That's also the cap off of this entire EP. It's got 6 tracks on it, and they all sound fantastic. Called Find the Beautiful, which is a acoustic sort of ballad track on the whole thing that sounds wonderful. Just like I'm so glad that they stepped up and evolved so much from the first one, because they're good songs, but it did feel like there was like a need to kind of massage and kind of work more with the songs that kind of evolve them to a certain degree in terms of recorded sound, production quality, good production quality, but it just felt like there was something that needed a little bit more depth to it to a certain degree. Just need live, they sound fantastic. Just feel like there was a comment on one of the videos I posted on my other channel for the live stuff, said it'd be really good if they kind of break out this cookie cutter sound, and I never really addressed the whole thing. But I kind of saw where it was coming from, but I really didn't want to make a thing of it. But I felt like, yeah, this when they put out the Left Behind single last year, that felt like a major step forward in the evolution of the sound, and this further solidifies the whole thing. So they will be eventually working on another full-length album, but they really want to put out a good collection of songs ahead of when they're going out on tour and stuff like that. Like I said, they're going out with Disturbed right now, hitting up things all over the place, and they'll be out on their first proper headline solo tour this spring. So look out for dates on their website. I put link in the description below is plushrocks.net. And so very much endorse checking this stuff out. It's up on all digital platforms. Got it on vinyl, got it on CD. Definitely grab. They do have a bundle where you can get it signed CD with like a t-shirt. But I'm going to wait until I actually get to the show itself and see what I want to grab in that regard, because they're going to have a lot more merch out on the tour or whatnot. So very much really want to endorse that up on the top of the video here. And talking about live stuff, my friend AMES out in Los Angeles did announce that she has a live show coming up on the 24th of February at the Hotel Cafe, which she's absolutely gone off and performed there many, many times before. They're very much welcoming to her. So she's on the second stage as a opening act, but definitely I think I was looking up on the website they had there for the tickets, about like $10. So it's completely easy. So if you're in Los Angeles at the end of February, I definitely implore you to go check her out. She's fabulous. I've never been able to actually meet her in person yet because we live about 2,000 miles apart. So I take care of all her. I'm the first official manager of her YouTube channel. I handle a lot of the things about troubleshooting her music distribution stuff, because like in the past month I've been going through like a lot of her artist pages on different platforms, where it's like Deezer or Pandora, Amazon Music, or it's Tidal or something else like that. And finally, like, sometimes certain tracks get kind of planted on the wrong channels or whatnot. Like someone else's tracks will be on her stuff, and they kind of have to put in requests to kind of separate things out and clean things up. So I've been working on that the past month to kind of get a little bit more of a tidier type of thing on all these different platforms, because there's so many platforms out there. There's one in Asia that she submits to and stuff like that. I found there's like 30 different tracks from other people on her page. So I figured, let me go in and try to put in a little request from her distribution platform to see if they can get that kind of cleared out over there. So there's a lot of different places, but I try to keep things as tidy for her as possible. So definitely check her out. She's put out some fantastic music, and I don't know what she's got planned in terms of other releases right now, but we'll see where things go in the near future here. But getting up to my personal business here, now that all that stuff's out of the way, a lot of stuff right now I'm having a lot of... The thing that's getting me down lately is that the fact that I've had a paid subscription to Vimeo. We used to be Vimeo Plus, and they have different tiers and other weird things going on. But I had this entire thing for Vimeo, mainly partially for a lot of the film projects I was doing like 10 plus years ago, and because I did a lot of actor reels. I did a lot of editing on that regard and had a lot of clients going on for many, many years there. But last couple of years, it's just completely dried up. A lot of people kind of, I was discussing things on email with my friend Chris Agos, who I used to do this stuff with, and apparently a lot of the actors out there have kind of figured out how to do it themselves. They found cheap editing software. Remember, they're using DaVinci Resolve, or he's using Adobe Premiere and stuff like that, and they just kind of figured out how to do a lot of the stuff themselves. So the kind of actor reel services field is just kind of dried up to a certain degree, and I've definitely felt that. I've not had a paid client in a couple of years, And so there's not really much of a reason for me to keep paying $60 a year for Vimeo when I haven't uploaded anything there in like 3 or 4 years. So I decided, well, I'm going to cut the cost there so I can just put that money to better use somewhere else. But unfortunately, Vimeo's gone through a lot of different changes over the years. If you want to talk, I've talked with my friend Jay Hunter about this thing over at OSW Review, Old School Wrestling Review. He was the first guy I kind of messaged because I knew him and Vimeo had a real big blow up a couple years ago when they're trying to put all the OSW Review videos up on the platform. And the fact is, they're getting so much traffic, they wanted to force Jay and everyone to kind of pay a major fee annually to host their videos to make sure they could maintain the bandwidth and everything like that. So they really kind of fucked a lot of people over the time, from bad business decisions or other cases. Because it used to be back before I started the payment type of thing, was the fact that you got a free account. The only real restriction was the fact that you'd have a cap of 500 megabytes you could upload per week. That was it. You just didn't get the higher quality encodes and a few other privacy type of things you could do with certain links or passwords or something like that to kind of share your links around or something else like that. It's much more basic. But you only got that cap every week, and you could do whatever the hell you want regardless. You could have many videos up there as you want. But apparently now, as I'm reverting from a paid subscription to a free one, I can only have 10 gigabytes of video storage data on the account at one time. And everything I had up there until a couple weeks ago was in excess of 32 gigabytes. Now I'm down to about 17, but the fact is, all the stuff I have back on there now is stuff it's like I'm bound to the bare essentials. I still have to kill over 7 gigabytes of stuff that I don't want to get rid of. And of course, this involves the full version of The Fixer, which again, a couple years ago, it got delisted off of Amazon Prime Video because it got poor metrics and stuff like that. Fine, whatever, I can't control that. Then they shut down their media on demand service, so all the DVDs went out of print. And so the only place I could host it that I felt comfortable with was on Vimeo. Well, now, I might lose that, I might not. The block of videos right now I'm looking at is the web series I had for Dead of Night, and all the video magazine things I did as 1201 Beyond with my friend Josh Hadley. We did those 10 years ago. And the only other place they're hosted right now is up on OSI 74, this kind of Roku free app. You can also watch this stuff on the website. So I went over there, made sure they still have the videos independently hosted there, and they do. So that kind of takes the edge off a little bit, but it's the fact that I got to clear out another like 7.5 gigabytes of stuff, and those are the main ones they're telling me are going to get removed by February 22nd when my renewal expires. When I've canceled the whole thing, that's the date it goes away. So they'll archive that stuff, and no one will be able to watch those videos. So they'll archive it for a year. They'll keep it up there, but I don't anticipate going back and paying for this stuff again. The only reason I haven't canceled it beforehand because I still had legacy pricing for when I first signed up, because it was only $60 a year. And now it's like way more than that for the base tier to pay for. So it's like almost like $20 a month or something else like that. It gets a lot higher than that. So I felt like, let me just keep it for like another year, see where things go. If there's other opportunities to show up, maybe there's other film projects to eventually get into, and I can use this thing for that. Whatever the case is, but I just felt like I've got no paid editing clients for the last couple of years. There's no income to justify sort of balancing that out. So the long story that I'm getting along to is the fact that with this thing kind of shrinking my Vimeo account to almost nothing, I've got to move the videos somewhere else. I've got to host them somewhere else. And I did take a couple of the actor reel videos I had just to have it still online, just in case if something comes up. I found another website that you can host like 10 videos for free and nothing else. And I was like, fine, I have like 6 videos to put up, and that's fine. They'll host them, and if I need it, I have a link to the thing, and people can have it, and it's going to be completely out of sight otherwise. So it's completely not a problem. But I'm going to have to find places for all the other stuff. Like, I never put up a remastered version of Dead of Night here on YouTube. It's only over on Vimeo now. That's one of the videos that if I clear out these other videos, the 1201 Beyond stuff, it won't get hit. All these weird things. I've been going back and forth with Vimeo, and it's very weird. Anything like that. Not a lot of this makes a whole lot of sense to me. It's just very frustrating. So I'm just trying to deal with this. I have a couple more weeks to not worry about it, and then I have to worry about it all over again. So, fact of the matter is, I'm trying to have some of the stuff that was on Vimeo come over here to YouTube. Now, there was a second YouTube channel for RavensFilm Services stuff when I did live performance videography for bands around town and stuff like that, but that's a long-going type of thing. So I kind of cleared out all those videos because they weren't doing me any good. So I kind of thought maybe I'd put them up over there and they'd be kind of the own separate channel, be kind of small and out of the way, but I felt like, let me just try to find a way to put everything up here. Not drop it all at the same time, but kind of sprinkle things in a little bit at a time. Because right now, I haven't linked it anywhere, but I did put up a 720p upscaled version of the Dead of Night Remastered Edition. Now, this is something I just have sitting on the channel right now. It's completely private, but I'll find a place to release it once all this stuff has kind of gone off to a certain degree. Right now on Patreon, I did kind of went this entire process here, where since I put together a special edition DVD for The Fixer, which had an audio commentary, had alternate scenes, it had music videos, it had featurettes that I put together for myself. And so I did actually put up one of the featurettes called Vibrant Noir, something I talked about the cinematography and the music of the film. I was actually able to salvage that through various means because I did not have a proper export of the whole thing. I just had what I had for the DVD, which was standard def when I edited in HD. Now, the fact is, over the weekend, I actually found a program that allows me to use the old Final Cut Pro 7 software again, because it wasn't compatible with any of this stuff over here. And so I was actually thankful that I still had all these old freaking hard drives sitting in the goddamn garage with all the files I still needed to reconnect everything in the project files with render files and all these different things and some other things I didn't have copied over to my proper hard drives to actually reconnect things, re-render a lot of things, and then re-export them in full high-quality resolution. So there's that. I got a proper actual export of Dead of Night in that regard, because I have like an MPEG 4 one, but I didn't have a proper full, like, seamless uncompressed one. I didn't have an uncompressed export of the black and white version. I did have one for the color version that I put out on the, again, special edition DVD that's out of print as well. And so that whole thing is the fact that I went through a lot of things. I reconnect a lot of stuff. I export everything. I re-export all the companion web series for Dead of Night and the commentary tracks I put together. All the stuff for the DVD has now been exported from the original project files and all that type of stuff. And so I have it now where I can actually put it up back somewhere else since all the stuff is no longer available. And since the stuff on Vimeo is going away, I got to put it up somewhere else. Now, all the remastered versions of the Dead of Night web series is already up on YouTube here. Now, it's just the black and white version because long stories ad nauseum here. Made the film, finished it in 2009. But by 2011, I had a hard drive malfunction that claimed a lot of the original files. So throughout 2011 to 2012, went through a meticulous process to rebuild everything shot by shot. So it's kind of what they did with the Star Trek The Next Generation HD remaster. Went back to the original stuff, reconstructed everything, and just improved the quality overall. So that's basically the same thing I went through. So when they went through that type of thing, I had a great sympathy for what they had to do as a painstaking, frame-by-frame, shot-by-shot reconstruction of exactly what they had to do there. So that's a major type of thing. So when I did that, I did a remastered version of the film in black and white, and I figured there was always a thing in the back of my mind of maybe also doing a color-graded version, a proper color version of the entire thing. So now I have export everything that's color and black and white for the main film and the web series, and I have all the commentary tracks properly exported in full quality. So all this stuff will eventually kind of trickle out on the entire channel here. Like I said, not all at once. I don't want to drop a whole ton of videos that are very different from the stuff I typically do on the channel here because I haven't done a real film project in about 10 years. So there's not been anything to really release in that regard aside from some promotional stuff I did in 2019 when The Fixer finally got released. In regards to that, I just wanted to kind of prime that for everyone saying, oh, I'm going to be dropping this and the other thing that's not a movie review, a movie commentary, something else like that. Just so you guys kind of know what's going on and kind of brace yourselves and kind of be aware of what's coming up on the channel here. So I'm going to try to figure out a release strategy for all that type of stuff, what can drop when and stuff like that. So it's still something I'm trying to collect in my mind about what to do in here, there, and everywhere, and organize that properly around the proper main video schedule I have here. So me and Steve will be coming back together for commentaries in a couple of weeks. He's out of town again for business. But we're looking to do Kindergarten Cop and the remake of Night of the Living Dead from Tom Savini. So get up on that type of stuff. So when we get to March, we'll be on the 20th anniversary of the Dawn of the Dead remake, which we'll do a commentary for that month. And I think we're pretty much planning to start doing our commentaries for the main Conjuring films starting in March, then maybe one in summer, one in spring, in fall. So we're doing a kind of a quarterly type of thing to kind of spread those out in that regard, like we did with the Jaws stuff, or here, there, and everywhere. So those are the things we're kind of aiming to do in that regard. Now, another thing I did get for Christmas is a brand new video capture card system, because as I'm eventually going to be upgrading my Mac OS from Mojave up to the latest type of thing, so I can get all the proper updates, so I can get the proper latest version of Photoshop and Final Cut Pro, all that type of stuff, I need an actual new capture card, because the one I have for capturing the stuff from the Laserdisc and the VHS tape, stuff like that, is not going to be compatible with the newer OS systems, which I found out from my friend Oliver Harper quite a while ago. You definitely have to get something new. So I actually had to get one that was an HDMI converter or whatnot. So it gets the analog stuff over here. It's got two inputs. Then it goes out to HDMI into a proper separate capture card here, which goes into the USB, which is a good type of thing. And it's got a thing to switch between 4x3 and 16:9. But apparently, what I've been seeing, and if I do a 4x3, then it has the black bars on the sides. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do the 16:9, which is going to stretch it out. Then I kind of reformat back into about 4x3 format for actually doing the proper stuff I do with the retro video series and stuff like that, and present the way I want to, instead of having weird black bars, kind of weird dealing with window boxing and stuff like that. So very good type of thing to have that up on that regard. So good thing I didn't upgrade just yet, because I probably would not have been able to do this, because specifically the software I downloaded called Retroactive only works on like Mojave or High Sierra or something else like that. Anything later, I would have been shit out of luck. So luckily, all this stuff kind of fell into the right places at the right time, and I could actually get this thing as insurance for later on. But it works perfectly fine with OBS system, which is open source software, completely free. But I will have to pay some money to actually upgrade my video conversion software in some places, because there's certain things that don't quite want to work as well with Final Cut Pro, kind of just dumping it in there. Like if you have an old VC1 Blu-ray encode, it doesn't like those. It doesn't like that format at all. It just doesn't want to be compatible whatsoever. So I have to use some other third-party software, convert it over to ProRes and stuff like that, and then put it over properly into Final Cut Pro. But the other big things going on at this point in time is the fact that I was mentioning in the last update that I was kind of revisiting that old Vengeance script that was kind of expanding out to feature film length. It's been going on for a long, long time. And it was going very, very well revisiting it after I completed that one short film script at the beginning of the year, right at the beginning of the month and stuff like that. And as fact it was going on very, very well. It's like I was very much on fire with creativity and figuring out the problems, kind of addressing things and rewriting things here and there. But as you're kind of going through a thing that you kind of did an old project about 19 years ago, and kind of thinking back to the old production and certain things here and there, sometimes you walk down memory lane and you don't find the best things possible. It's kind of hard for me to talk about it, so I'm going to try to not breeze over, but just kind of skip through it a little bit here. Previously, a couple of years ago, I did find out there was a person who was involved with the production for a very short time, who apparently, from the information I could gather, from the contact information from which you can kind of search through and kind of find some information here and there. And of course, this one guy, his name was spelled very particularly. I knew he was from a place in Indiana, and I kind of found the information that apparently he had passed away in 2010. And it is what it is. You can't really do anything about it. It's very, very much post facto. You don't really have anything much more to go on. But everything I kind of looked back through the last couple of days, I kind of found mostly reinforced that. There's some contradictory information online from records and stuff like that, make it a little kind of confusing to a certain degree, but best I could tell, the guy did pass away a very long time ago, and I was looking through a guy who was much more deeply involved with the production of the film, and I was trying to look him up, trying to find him here and there, see like, well, maybe what's he up to these days. And it was just the fact that things fell out on the entire production. I wasn't the most professional person at the time. I didn't handle, it was like my first major production, and there were a lot of things that just didn't go terribly well. And he was soured on a lot of things that did go down in production, and me being the director, I should take some blame for certain things going certain ways that didn't go very well. But the last communication we had between us didn't go very well, at least from his end of things. And the information I did find, looking up his old phone number and various other things, he also apparently passed in 2009. And that very much negatively impacted my emotions. Trying to go down, thinking about this entire production and kind of rethinking this entire script, I just came to an emotional point where I just couldn't work on it anymore at that point in time. It was about last Friday. And so I'm in this bit of a funk where I'm like, okay, I'll work on the script a little bit here and there today, and then I can kind of push forward and pivot over to getting into the Exorcist 3, all that type of stuff here and there, the research and building it back up. And of course, since that kind of drew me down, really down, and that was just, I can't, as much as I want to, I just can't deal with that thought and that reality hitting me and kind of going through and trying to project onto the script and kind of re-envision all the type of stuff. It was just too much. You can't go through that type of stuff. So just like, I was in a funk. I wasn't feeling great the next day and stuff like that, but it was at least getting to the next day and I kind of figuring all this type of stuff out with that retroactive software and dealing with the hard drive stuff and reclaiming all those files. That got me back up to a peak. So that got me back on track to kind of get my feelings, my emotions kind of projected towards a better end of things, be more productive the next day or so. But still, ran into the whole thing of being far too tired to really kind of move forward on things. So I just decided to kind of pace myself out and deal with things here and there. So I'm not saying I'll never work on the Vengeance script again. It's just right now, it's a lot of stuff to reconcile. To realize a guy that you didn't realize was gone is now been gone for 15 years is a hard reality hit. So that really just kind of put me into a certain funk, and I felt that was at least enough to kind of share with you guys. So just the fact that even looking at photos from the whole thing, I really couldn't come to terms or whatnot with the whole thing. It was very emotional for me to deal with that, and so I'm just trying to move past that, realize there's nothing really, it's something that's so far in the past, there's nothing I can do about it. I just kind of have to move along and just kind of deal with things and just trying to reconcile things as I can. So, past is the past, there's nothing you can do about it, and just kind of sad to think about it. So I've just been moving forward and kind of dealing with things, and I just kind of got myself on a better track. I'm a much better track now. I'm very much good. You don't have to worry about me. I'm fine. But as I'm kind of like getting on this script type of thing, I finished the one script on January 1st, and last night I went back, and because I had the day off, and I just felt like I just need to relax and kind of do things, kind of get my mind in different places, and just kind of work on various other things. I did go back to another script, short form type of thing, a couple of pages and whatnot, that I was working on about a year and a half ago. And I was just like, I needed to go back to this thing and kind of touch it up and kind of work on little things here and there to kind of, I really liked the whole thing, but I felt like, yeah, there was something I needed to do to kind of more prime the ground at the forefront of the entire story here, that leave the audience chasing things too much. So I kind of worked on things here and there and kind of like figured, I've got to get back in this entire thing. I've got to get back into actually cementing myself wanting to do another film project eventually. So I figure first good step is to take things that I have on a computer and actually get them printed out. I have a physical copy of the things, and I picked up this nice sort of portfolio type of thing, so it's got like 8 different pockets on it, and since they're pretty short scripts, I can put multiple things in a pocket, so I just have something physical I can have here on the desk or something else like that, or with my magazine holders over here with all my comic books and trade paperbacks and my Star Wars art books and whatnot, and just have it here as a physical representation of maybe getting one step closer to actually making it something. Because you have it tangible, physical in your hands. You can look at it. You can feel it. It feels like it's something that's a little more, you're trying to be more concrete about making a step forward to doing something. I just feel like as I finish the script, I've got a couple other things that are finished. I kind of put on the shelf that kind of got expanded out to being maybe a little too ambitious for me right now. But I would like to make sure I have a proper title page on these things and stuff like that before I print them out and add them to this whole thing. So I just want to make sure I have a physical type of representation of the stuff I've been working on for years and not putting into motion yet. So I just want to have that feeling that I'm compiling a sort of archive of certain things or whatever we want to call it, a portfolio, and just have it there and just like, this is cementing type of thing. I want to do something with this stuff sooner than later and eventually get things in motion here. So I don't want to get too bogged down in the constant race of YouTube algorithms type of stuff that always constantly put things out. So maybe the Vimeo thing is maybe a bit of a slight blessing in disguise. Maybe I can, when there's maybe I have to be a longer break between the main videos, maybe I can drop something else that's in regard to that stuff that's got to be poured over and still have a home somewhere online, something else like that. So I'll see how things kind of go along as I kind of put one or two or three things out and see how they perform, see how they get reactions, what people really want to kind of see, and we want to see more of a featurette type of thing from the stuff I did before, or just kind of put out the proper videos here and there. So, like I said, maybe the remastered version of Dead of Night and the Fixer proper will still remain on Vimeo, and maybe one or two other things, because there's certain videos that are saying specifically these will go away absolutely if you don't kind of find some other things that free up space. These for certain will go away, and so I have to figure things out here. So it's very difficult type of stuff. I'm trying to resolve to my own degree here. So anyway, anything like that. So that's very much a type of thing. I want to have that in my hands and have it as a physical representation of what I've been working on to get forward into actually making things happen. And so that's basically the update today. This is all these different things. The Vimeo account's shrinking down and it's going away. I've deleted over 50 videos at this point in time, and it's not enough. And so just the fact that there's been all these, got rid of almost all the Hemi music videos off of there, all the live performance videography stuff I had on the channel, all over there on the account, all these different things are just gone away, all the trailers, all the type of stuff. So I've had to go back and update the stuff on the official websites for the Fixer and Dead of Night to point through all the stuff I have over on YouTube instead of Vimeo. So I still have to go through things on the Dead of Night site and fix those links. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work and stuff like that. So it's been tough. It's been tough. It's been a January that's had some ups and some stuff that's not really been doing me doing me very well. So hopefully you guys will kind of be jazzed for some of the stuff that's coming up. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So as you go along, you'll see stuff pop up. I'll put up something. I don't know exactly what's going to hit first. Maybe just the remastered Dead of Night. Because all I have right now, like I said, up on the channel here is the old version, which I uploaded back in like 2010. I remarked back then that the compression quality wasn't great, so I did, like I said, at a 720 upscale for this version. So it's not proper. It was not shot in HD. It was shot in standard definition, but it was a very, very good looking film. I thought it came out very, very well in terms of visuals and whatnot, but it just has to make sure they kind of gets a good quality on the compression and whatnot. So I uploaded already, kind of previewed it. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good in that regard. So it looks nice. So as things go along, like I said, I have commentary tracks for the Fixer, for Dead of Night, for the Dead of Night web series that all have to be kind of eventually put online somewhere, so they might as well be put online here. So guys, right now, like I said on Patreon, Vibrant Noir, the feature I did for the Fixer, is up there right now, and a downloadable link to the audio commentary I have for the DVD of the Fixer. So the Fixer is still completely well available up on Vimeo right now, but right now I just have a downloadable link to the commentary track I did for it, and up on Patreon, along with it, you can watch that feature that I put together, which is about 6 or so minutes. So if you're interested in it, it's completely, sign up for any level. Sign up for $1 a month. You can go off and watch it. You can get that type of stuff, and you can have the downloadable version of the commentary. It'll eventually all get released publicly here, but right now, that's where I have it, just to have it somewhere, and so on and so forth. So, guys, there's a lot of shoe leather, as they say. A lot of stuff to get up on, and talk about, and kind of stirred up a thought or whatnot. There is a YouTube channel that I do want to recommend. If you are a filmmaker, someone aspiring to be a filmmaker, anything like that, Kent Lamb over at Standard Story Company, he puts together very good videos, talking about things very clearly. He's got some great stuff over there. I really like his work. His short films are very fantastic. He's done some great work in that regard. And he's very much a professional editor, professional in a lot of different cases. I like his attitude. I like his personality. He's very welcoming, very inviting. And he's got some great stuff. So definitely check his stuff up on his YouTube channel. And he's got some great stuff on. I'm not up on his Patreon, but apparently he's got some very, very resourceful type of stuff up there as well. So he's very much a good type of guy. I like what he does. Go check his stuff out if you're very much someone like me, wants to learn from a lot of people who know a lot more than I do about filmmaking and stuff like that to do it for yourself. So check his stuff out. It's very good things in that regard. So guys, thanks so much for checking things out on this video. We'll be up with good stuff. Like I said, this weekend I'll try. I'm going to get to Exorcist 3, and we'll get on from there, from that point onwards. So about somewhere in the middle of the month, we're looking to get together, me and Steve, about the 12th or so, kind of tentatively in that regard. So we should have our next commentary up about halfway into February. So just after Valentine's Day, you'll probably see something coming out for Night of the Living Dead or Kindergarten Cop, whichever one we decide to actually record first, or anything like that. So guys, thanks so much. Have the Patreon, have the Super Things feature below, all that type of stuff. So you'll definitely be getting, if you're up on Patreon, you will definitely be getting a lot of the stuff I'm putting up for the independent film stuff I've done before. That'll go up there first, just so everyone can see it and kind of preview it first until I figure out exactly what the release strategy is. When I have enough of a dead space between the main videos here, I'll probably drop something else like that up for everyone to watch for free. But right now, early previews are up on Patreon. You give it $1 a month, you'll be able to see everything. So guys, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.